Hey everyone. Hopefully your January and your new year is going well. I know it's hard to believe that we're like coming up on the midpoint of the first month already. Time for me this week just like really, really fast. I'm not sure what that was about, but just a blur. I don't know if that's like how the rest of the the rest of the month or year is going to go, but it seems to be going really quick. We're doing well here. Um, just I think I talked about this last week. There's that feel of that, like there's this extra energy in the air. I don't know. That's how I feel, anyways. I feel that at work, and I feel that definitely looking out into the world, right, and the bigger world stage. So that's very interesting. I feel that that's kind of building. I'm intrigued to see what we select in the deck today. So the deck, I decided, this is a new one for me as well. One of my self gifts over the holidays that I got is the Law of Positivism. I had never even heard of this deck before, and it just popped up as a suggestion, and I've been really enjoying it. It's by Shireen Oberg. I hope I say that correctly. Yep, Shireen Oberg. And it's a healing oracle. So I definitely love the positive vibes from this deck so far that I'm getting, and I'm really curious to see what we're going to come across today. So here we go. I'm going to give it the intuitive shift, and I just kind of set an intention that whatever is helpful for our community today comes up for us for consideration. So we'll see what we bring up here. All right. Okay. I'm feeling like that's the one. That's the one. What do we got? Oh, how fitting is this considering what I just said? Wow. Okay. I know when my body needs to rest. I love that picture. A picture of a child resting. Looks like it's in the flowers there. Like children, like little ones especially, they just naturally they know how to do this, right? They'll be playing 1 minute and you look over and then, oh, they're out cold. It's like, no, time for a nap, right? And I find us adults struggle with this a little bit more. Our mind tells us, oh, we got to go, 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 right? And this is super relevant to me. I don't know if you can sense that, but something I definitely struggled with. Yeah, it's not a coincidence that I'm into all this yoga meditation stuff, right? I've had to learn those skills to try and balance out that fire go 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 energy that I kind of intrinsically carry with me. So interesting, because we were just talking about feeling that more, I don't know, I felt like definitely yang kind of go 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 energy, just like energy in general, elevated energy. And I mean, just even on the world stage, right? And so that's fine, and that's going to happen. But if that's all you're focused on, right? And if that's all you're taking in, I can relate to this. I can get really drawn into a lot of that fire stuff. I'm like, whoa, okay, what's this about? Fix that, solve this, whatever, right? You can find yourself burnt out pretty quickly. I can attest to that. So this is something that I am constantly working on, is knowing when to take a break from all that, knowing when my body needs to rest, to counter, to rejuvenate, to restore, to balance out that go, 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 right? Wow, is that ever? That's such a good reminder. Okay, so let's just see. I always love looking at the book just to see if there's any other helpful tidbits, that could be elaborated on here. Okay, so we got the universe, the earth, and our bodies are constantly in a yin yang balance. We were just kind of talking about that, right? Between dark and light, rest and activity, subconscious and conscious awareness. We live in a society that prioritizes activity and productivity. Isn't that the truth, right? Not knowing how devastating it is for the earth and humankind to run on empty, right? Like there's an end of the line somewhere, right? Whether you realize it or not, you can't just go, 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 go. I'm sure many of us have realized that. With that said, like I know that, but I still struggle. Like my mind still like, but you can do this one more thing. But this is so important because like it's just this push, push, push. Like And I've gotten to a place, I think, now with the yoga and meditation of realizing, like, okay, my mind's gonna always say that. Like, I just observe it. Okay, there it is. That's what it does. Take a breath, tune into our body, and like, what's the real story? Like, the body doesn't lie, right? Like, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. I can't. No, it's a no. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna take that nap or whatever it is that I need, right? Love that. Conscious rest and sleep are the keys to a healthy, vital, and balanced life. Yeah, that's just how it works here, right? Like we need rest to balance that activity. Doesn't mean you never do anything. Doesn't mean you sleep all the time. The balance, the yin, you got your activity you're doing, great, and or sorry, the yang, that's the activity doing, and the yin, which is that rest and restore, and that has to be in balance for that to work, for us to work, right? Oh, such a good reminder. So asking yourself, are you getting enough rest and sleep? Do you take time to just be? Like, I find I even struggle with that in meditation sometimes, of just like an open awareness, like, just can I just be in the meditation? I still feel like I have to do. I catch myself like, okay, so now in the meditation, I'm like, okay, so that's fine for sometimes, but also can I just be with, just be for the next few minutes, right? Like, that itself is very powerful, and we forget that. Thinking and producing, right? We feel like that's what we have to do all the time. There are many forms of rest and levels of consciousness that we attain when resting. You forget this. Like, really valuable stuff happens without you trying to do it. Like, we feel like we have to do all the things, right? No, no, no. There's a lot more going on here than what you have control over, right? So when you're dropping into that being place, that's when some of the magical stuff can happen. So meditation can be a form of conscious rest, which also opens up our higher senses while relaxing in the thinking mind. And that is really helpful right there. I love this practice. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to have to do this today. Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra, hold on to that thought, is a form of bodily rest that keeps you awake and aware on a higher level than just the mental. So actually, Yoga Nidra does stand for yogic sleep. So basically, like, you don't fall into sleep, your mind doesn't go to sleep. It's still aware, but your body, we basically put your body into a sleepful state and a restful state, and you just let your awareness be. And you're still awake. You're still awake. Sleep helps connect to the astral plane and the infinite source of consciousness. How can you take time to rest the body, the mind, and the soul? Prioritizing rest and sleep and carving out time for it is vital for your overall well-being. And we know this, right? Like, even I got a science background, and like, it's a no-brainer that 7 to 8 hours, for me that would be minimum, per night, are required for optimal health. Like, we know this now. Like, it's so much data backing this up, but yet we still think, oh, but I can get away with 5 to 6, whatever, less, right? Because I want to do more. And I mean, you don't want to go bankrupt in that area, right? Your body will tell you when you do. Find that yin and yang balance within and around you. Oh, that is very good advice. So you have a few suggestions here. I'm just going to like touch on these because I love just ideas, and feel free to jot these down. Like, I'm going to do that once we're done here in my journal. Just kind of jot down. It's nice to have a list of things when you're in that place. I've been in that place a few times this week. And maybe when we're in that place, we're not thinking super clearly, right? And okay, I need to come down a little bit here, but you can't really think of those things, right? But if you have a list ready to go, you can go take a look, and one of those things is likely going to speak to you. Okay. So an idea, first off, sit or lie down in nature and just listen to the sounds. Okay. If you're in a really cold environment where I am right now, you could just dress up and just go out and have a seat out on a bench and just enjoy the sound. Or if that's not possible, I would suggest like maybe listening, because you go on YouTube or whatever streamer you have, and like nature sounds, right? I love that. I find like whatever works for you. I love water. I love the flow of water. So all this kind of water nature sounds, and listen to that with my eyes closed. I find that's really helpful as well. Guided resting meditation and Yoga Nidra. Can't recommend that enough. I'm going to put a Yoga Nidra on this channel. I love Yoga Nidra. Like, any time of day, but especially before I'm like totally unwinding for the evening, that just calms my nervous system right down. And I always have the best sleep of my life. And it's, as I'm saying this, I'm like, why am I not doing this more? I know this. So amazing. Can't recommend enough. Going to bed between 9 and 10 p.m. to get deep sleep time. And there's some science around that too, where it's so interesting. You're like 7 to 8 hours. Okay, I'm good. So I'll go to bed at midnight and get up at like, 7, 8. But for some, it's to do with the circadian rhythms, where the quality of sleep isn't quite the same when you go, especially after midnight. I was reading that like after midnight, the quality of sleep is never going to be the same. Ideally between 9 and 10, it's just how our rhythms are naturally wired that we're going to get that optimal rest, deep sleep. Taking short naps in the afternoon is one of my favorite things in the holidays to regain energy. Just lying down, focusing on your breath, rest the mind from thoughts. And even if you don't fall asleep there, just 15, 20 minutes, even 5 to 10 minutes of just like eyes closed, quiet environment, focusing on your breath. Amazing how much better you feel after that. Absolutely. Taking a long bath and just being, absolutely my favorite thing. I think it's my number one go-to. I'm a bath person. So, and my family knows once I'm in there, it's going to be a while. So work it out. So good. Some of the water, I swear, for me, the water is really helpful. Probably cooling down the fire, right? That makes sense. I find that super helpful. Journal what activities keep you active and find practices to balance those out with equal amounts of rest. Yeah. So just like it's going to be different for everyone. Maybe it's going for, a walk in nature. Maybe it's just sitting in your garden. Maybe it's listening to some calming music. Uh, Doing some art, right? Like, so it just depends on the person. Whatever is you find calms the nervous system, I would put that on my list, right? Absolutely. And then making time for those things. Okay. So I absolutely needed that today. So I don't know about you, but really cool. Really cool. So hopefully you find that helpful. Remember, rest of your weekend and going especially into the week. I find that's when it's really helpful for me to remember these things, remembering those practices that bring the yang and the yin into balance, like calming to counter that doing, right? Because we want to go for the long haul. We want to go for the long haul, and we want to bring quality to what we're doing, right? And so we know if we're burnt out, I know I can speak to this, burnt out, tired, we're not bringing our best to whatever we're doing, right? So we know this, but then to remember it, right? So good luck. If you like this, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, please, if you haven't already done so, share with others, and I hope you have a really great rest of your week. Take care. Bye.